Yo, my peoples, what's up? Welcome to 5 and 9 in a one-stop co-op shop, where I go over 5 things you need to know about a game in about 9 minutes or less. I'm going to shoot for that. Today I'm taking a look at Mythwind. This one is a worker placement Euro-style game for 1 to 4 players, in which you are playing explorers in a brand new pristine forest. You're encountering the denizens and building up your own sustainable town over multiple playthroughs. This one is not going to present itself immediately. You have to invest multiple plays, progress slowly, and slowly build up your town. It also has a highly asymmetric set of 4 characters, each of which provides a very different play experience. This one has a lot of similarities to mechanisms that you're used to in Euro games, but approaches it in a very different way. So let's check out those similarities and differences when I head over to the videotape. Full disclosure, I did receive a review copy from the publisher. My number 5, a massive pro. The componentry and the storage has to be among the 1 or 2 best that I've ever seen in a board game. Nice, tight, compact package. You see there are holders so that I can take everything out easily. Here are the 4 character trays, which I'll get to in a little bit. Here is the section with the main game. Take these out, fits nice and snug. You got your 3 player boards, which fit in there, spaces for your dice and your cards and all your money, and spare cards, including the little story bits that can leap out of here. Some other mechanisms in there for secret, the minis. And in addition, for each of the individual characters, everybody has their own set of cards and tokens and everything. So much thought went into this. And I'm going on about this because as gamers, when we have a game where we spend a lot of time, we want to be able to have that feeling of ownership, craftsmanship. We love this thing. It is ours. And the componentry really adds to that in Mythwind. My number 4, a very significant pro, once again, is the asymmetrical players. 1 to 4 player game, so you get options for 4, and they all play radically differently. So each of the players are going to have a mini, and I have the farmer mini right here. They're going to, worker placement style, go to the town and take an action. And I'll talk about that kind of common area in a little bit. But then you get to do something on your personal board, and they differ radically each time. So the farmer has this polyomino aspect to them, got plenty of crops, generating money depending on spatial placement. So if you're into that, that's great for you. The crafter is working on their ingredients. They get ingredients and they slowly build up, build a thing, sell it. Merchants also sell, but they play the market. Supply and demand, buy low, sell high. So if you're into that play style, that's there. The ranger says, screw everybody. I'm going off on adventures, and they have a whole separate deck. They don't often go to the town at all because they're out on adventures getting stuff back. In addition, each character has access to some upgrade tiles, so the asymmetry doesn't just stop at the basic mechanics. You can also upgrade with your own unique path. Mishigosh, a bunch of stuff happens. It's very multiplayer solitaire when people are playing, simultaneous play, but then you'll go back to the what's happening in the main board, and it's like, okay, I generated 15 money, or I generated this, and I get to manipulate this in the town. That could be a little bit jarring because, the other players want to know, what's going on over there? What are you doing? You don't have to tell them. You just have to tell them the results. If that sounds appealing to you, then the way the game executes the asymmetric play for a Euro game is stellar. My number 3, also a fairly significant pro, is the unfolding story and narrative of the game and how it integrates into the mechanisms. So every turn, you're going to be pulling from the weather deck 1 card, and occasionally it will trigger and pull from the event deck. The event deck starts small, only 1 card. Then it'll tell you, no spoilers, read the next card. Eventually, you are going to get to a point of like, if you have built, not going to throw spoilers there. But, if you built this, do this. If not, then do that. If you want to spend resources, do this. If you don't want to spend resources, do that. If you have achieved this threshold, And ultimately, you'll be seeding through the deck this massive pile of events. You will not see this entire event deck in 1 full playthrough. It's there for multiple plays, multiple pathing, very lighthearted story that adds to the atmosphere. Very well done on the event deck. And just for more whimsy and some random resources, a little bit of exploration in the valley, you take the adventure action and also pull from the adventure deck. Again, you're going to start with only a few, but then you can shuffle in so many others depending on how far you go down that path. You can look at it a little, you can look at it a lot. I'm a thematic gamer. I looked at it a lot. It was really fun. My number 2, unfortunately, we're going to have to go con over here, which are the buildings. This is a game where you're building a town. So the buildings play a central role, and you do get plenty of options for building. So when you get your resources, pretty standard stuff, you're going to be able to uncover and then place a building. That's all fine. Once you have your building empire started, then you can start to look at the end of the building tree, see what you want to build toward. So if you want to build things like the restaurant or the foundry, you kind of have to prereq. So a lot of planning goes into that, which can be fun. However, if you look at them, they're mostly iterations on similar powers. You get money, the money gets you stuff, or the stuff gets you money, etc. I think the issue is here you have your 4 resources like production and culture. They go up and down, but there's really no asymmetry to how these play out, which is disappointing because the players have such asymmetry. Here, it's kind of like up and down, not too much different. The buildings come out the same. I'm not motivated over multiple plays to build my city differently. I am motivated for multiple plays for the events, but in terms of the actual city building, I left it a little bit wanting for me. My number 1 is a mix. It's likely the thing that you might have heard as the headline for other reviews, which is game pacing. This game is not like other Euro games, even longer ones, 2 or 3 hours. Eventually, within the course of a playthrough, you're going to ramp up and have those huge turns, etc. Here, you might take multiple days to get that big ramp up, and even then, the game proceeds pretty slow. It's not an asymptote at all. It's a slow ramp up. So you're going to play, as an example, build building. So, okay, I build this building. I'm all good. And then this queue slowly moves up. If there is no building for whatever reason in the queue, then you got to wait for the weather deck, which happens every turn, to push up the building queue or some other effect. Players like the crafter are slowly going to progress their ingredients along their track, and then they'll have something to sell. Other characters have other versions of that slow progression towards something that creates interaction with the board. It might take you multiple playthroughs in order to get to something where you feel like it's not just the starting space, but it's now my own and I'm doing things. This is not a game night game. Be forewarned. You can't just take this game, lay it out in front of your game group, and expect them to have fun over a single night. It requires that multi-night investment. Or if you're a solo player and you know what you're getting into, then you will get into that solo experience, but know what you're getting into. That's why this is a mix. It is for certain types of gamers, not for others. That is for each of y'all to decide. I have one overall word to describe this game, and that is moxie. I appreciate that the game makers went for something truly different. And I've played a lot of worker placement games. You see them right on my shelf. I got the Pursuit of Happiness up there. I got Lords of Waterdeep down there. A bunch of others. This one is very similar to those games, but also highly different in that in most of these games, you get to that point at the end where there's like, boom, 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 boom. You're going to get a whole bunch of stuff. You leave with that satisfying jolt of, dopamine hit. Mythwind doesn't go for that. It's more like a oxytocin style game. What's oxytocin? The bonding hormone. It's going to be a game in which you slowly invest over time, and then you stand back. It's like, wow, my crafter is X level and the town looks like this. If that sounds appealing to you, maybe you are a Stardew player who has built up, big old town for yourself, torn it down, then build it up again over multiple hours. Or if you like that style of play, then this one is for you. This one is truly a game that a few people will love, rather than a game that more people will like. And I really appreciate that designers went for that. As always, I hope that I've shown you enough of the games that you can make a decision for yourself whether this is worth your gaming time and gaming dollar. This is Jason with the One Stop Co-op Shop, reminding you that we'll see you at the next stop.